Greetings! In this video I'll be painting an Assault Intercessor of the Mortifactors 4th Company. For this guy I've used a regular Assault Intercessor body, but with the wings of the Imperialis on the chest removed, leaving only the skull. For the arms I've used one of the Assault Intercessor arms with a knife, and for the gun arm I've used a bolt carbine from the recent Grey Hunters kit. I detailed the weapon with a skull from the Citadel Skulls kit, which I carved to fit over the front of it, leaving a hole for the sights. I wrapped some wire around the handguard, and fed the ends into a spot beneath the skull on each side. To prime the model I used my airbrush, though you can use a rattle can spray primer if you prefer. The first thing I did was give the model an all-over dry brush with Mechanicus standard grey. This scheme has some interesting bits in different colours, so I wanted to get some tedium out of the way fast. Next I moved straight onto the bone coloured armour pieces. The Mortifactors paint a unique selection of parts in a bone colour, so I've used Rakarth flesh as a base coat for these. It took 2 or 3 coats to get complete coverage. I switched to Abaddon black to clean up some of the panels, namely where the dry brush was applied too heavily. Warpstone Glow was next, which I used to paint in the pauldron trim to represent the 4th Company of the Mortifactors. I prepared the pauldrons for decals with a gloss varnish. Now for some metallics. I used Iron Warriors to paint in various bits with this steel colour. The knife handle, blade, the chains, the skull on the torso, the weapon details, power pack details, and the power pack exhaust ball thingies. I applied these decals off camera using Microset and Microsol. My attention went back to the armour at this stage. I used Wraithbone to paint in all of the bone coloured bits. This is a very bright bone colour, but it'll be toned down later. The Mortifactors use decals that match their armour colour, so I planned to stain the decals using Skeleton Horde. I thinned it fairly heavily with contrast medium, but I had forgotten to varnish the decals first, so the paint beaded up, leaving a blotchy finish. Onto the eye lenses and the wrist lights now. I used Mephiston red as a base coat, filling in the entire lens. Evil Sunz Scarlet followed, painting in the lenses but avoiding the edges. After that, Wild Rider red, this time only towards the centre of the face. A small application of Lugganath orange finishes off the eyes. Going back to the steel, I used Runefang steel to highlight the various metal bits to where I was happy. Iron Warriors by itself appears really grainy. This highlight hides that well. Now onto some leather and weathering. I used Rhinox hide and base coated the leather details, like the scabbard and the belt. Then focused on applying scratches and cuts along various surfaces. Next I used Skrag Brown and applied a scratchy highlight to the leather details, as well as building up some corrosion in the bigger weathered bits. I also used this straight over some of the chain, which gave it a nice and quick rusty appearance. To finish off the leather, I used Deathclaw Brown, applying it in a smaller area than before. I'm still new to weathering dark colours, but for this one I chose to try Baneblade Brown. I applied some chips and scratches like I did earlier with a Rhinox hide. The green felt a bit dark, so I went in with Moot Green and applied an edge highlight. Finally, I got out the dark sepia pin wash and applied it all over the model, though making sure it didn't pull. I left it for an hour or so to cure, then applied my usual basing method and finished with an ultramatte varnish. And here we have it! An Assault Intercessor of the Mortifactors 4th Company. I'm really happy with this one. The stain decals were a concern, though I think they fit in fine after all the weathering. Next time I try and stain decals, I'll make sure to use a matte varnish on them first, so the paint has an easier time sticking, instead of beading up or sliding towards an edge. I'm really happy with the changes I made to the bolt carbine. I think it matches the Mortifactors aesthetic well, but let me know what you think. I wasn't too sure how to paint the power pack. I struggled to find source material showing these guys from the back, so I winged it with front images and written descriptions. One book mentioned the top of the power pack was bone, so I stuck with that. All in all, I think this guy came out really nicely. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. What would you have done differently, or any questions you have. For my next video I'll be painting either an Imperial Fist or a Space Wolf. They're both ready to paint, but I don't know when I'll get to the other one. I finally got my 3D printer up and running again, so I'll be working on some requests in the next few videos. You can look forward to a fairly complex kit bash, at least by my standards, for an Emperor's Spear, and hopefully a Retributor Impulsor. Anyway, hope you stick around for the next one.